said I wasn't there.
We come in and playing in the floor, really wasn't big enough food probably for something like that. Yeah, it's pretty good, it's wrong. Just afterward, it sent me an email saying she was on the way. Like getting off the morning. Since we don't have a very big agenda, if you don't mind, we'll just kind of wait for it to get here. Like they come off early in the morning, but to get it all pushed through down to different channels, I needed to. We'll be looking over the minutes from the last meeting. Call the meeting to order. First order of business is review the minutes from the July 7th meeting. Any corrections, additions? Any minutes? Have a motion by Mr. Ford to approve, a second by Mr. Gully. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Now, I just want to speak on the next item, Mr. Chairman.
Items to be sent to the committee. Do you have something that?
Yes, sir. I'd like to, if you could amend the agenda. I have 3 items. One of them is just a discussion point, just to get your feedback on it, and the other 2 will need to be sent to a committee. So the first one is just discussion of what timeline you all look at for the county attorney. I'll kind of give you my thoughts, get your feedback on that. The second one will be an item that needs to be sent to budget and finance, and that is to TEMA, the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, has some funds that's basically flow through from FEMA, but we have to create a special fund to pay for those items that can be used for COVID related. So face masks, we're looking to buy those. We have to set up a special fund, and as long as we buy just blank face masks without getting any logos or anything put on them, it should be 100% reimbursable by TEMA, but we have to set up the funds to meet the comptroller's requirements. So I asked if that could be sent to the Budget and Finance. And then the third one would be something to send to the Law Enforcement Committee, and it's as needed, and that would be to deal with the issue of homeless in the gazebo. And this is something we're working on. We find another way to deal with it, but there may be something we need to put in the ordinances to address it in the future. Just to go ahead and cover our bases, I'd like for that item to be sent to the Law Enforcement Committee in case we need to call one.
Okay. So we'll add those all at this time to the agenda if there's no opposition. We'll take them one at a time now.
Yes, sir. For the county attorney, as you know, Mr. Miller is running for circuit court judge. If he is elected Thursday night, we'll need to get a new attorney. The timeline I was looking at is we probably can't get it in the Democrat. That'd be the earliest newspaper we get in to maybe the 11th. On the 7th, I've already got the job description and everything put together. On the 7th, I was going to send it to the Tennessee Bar Association, the 15th Judicial District Bar Association, and the Tennessee County Attorneys Association, so they can spread it out to their membership and get that ball rolling as far as that goes. Then also advertise it in the Lebanon Democrat starting on either the 10th or 11th, and then in the Vidette on the 13th. And maybe looking at ending the application period on the 19th. To try to speed the process along, I was thinking about that basically doing like rolling interviews as soon as the applications, whatever, start coming in, call them up and start doing the interviews with them. That way when the application period closes, we're hopefully through the process, almost ready to make a decision. I know it gives us a tight deadline there because we got the commission meeting on the 24th. I just want to get feedback. Is the commission comfortable moving that fast, or would you rather go? I mean, we'll be September without a county attorney otherwise.
Well, will he have to resign and us officially accept his resignation at one of our meetings, or just by the date that he dates it? We consider.
I believe he starts his term on September 1st, so after he's elected, he'll start the process of winding down all of his business. So that will be, I hate to say it's just a formality, but he's going to have to resign as county attorney. And I'd like to go ahead. I know when Betty Lou did it, she did it a few months ahead of time, and he had another replacement in mind when it came up time. So I'll try to get a start on that. That way we have a replacement. We don't go any period of time without a county attorney.
What if he loses?
Well, if he loses, then there'll be no change, but I want to just be prepared in case he does. And I think he does have a good chance.
Mr. Parker?
Should that go to the Professional Services Committee?
No, under the charter, it's up to the mayor to make an appointment, and then it's up to approval of the county commission.
Larry?
Does this have to be advertised for 2 weeks like everything else?
It is not a department head, so no, it doesn't. I look back at how they did it in 2017. They advertised it for about a week and a half, and then made a decision and submitted to the county commission then. So we'll be kind of running similar timeline this time.
You gonna advertise at the same pay that he's getting, or?
You don't advertise paying this. It's a request for qualifications.
I mean, if they don't want to pay that he's making.
Well, if they don't want to pay, that'll be something as we go through the interview process, we talk to them and they're not willing to do that amount of money, well then we might go to somebody else. But right now, it's just a request for qualifications to see who's the most qualified, and then you would work with them on pay similar as you would like an engineering firm or something coming in.
Well, I know we've got several things that we've kind of been waiting on. I hate to say that word, but there's not even been anything critical, but just some questions that, and I know that we'll have more going forward, so the sooner we can get this process started, I think the better off we're going to be. I think the timeline, at least to me, sounds very good, and I appreciate you putting the time and forethought into it. For Brandon, I hope he wins. For us, I hope he doesn't, but we'll have to deal with it. We'll know by the end of the week.
Sir, we'll know probably what 8, 9 o'clock Thursday night?
Probably.
Yes.
You think it would be feasible to have it finished by the 1st of November?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You think we can have it all complete by the 1st of November?
What's that?
The selection and all of that.
I'm hoping to have it completed by August 24th.
That's what we're shooting.
I'm hoping to have it done this month.
You want to?
pretty quick.
Well, it is, but that's why, you know.
If we
get on
don't, if
it,
we wait
have
till
everything in
November,
place
we'll go
to
about 3 months without a county attorney.
When will he begin his term if he will?
I believe it's September 1st, but don't hold me to that. I think that's gonna be it, but I'm not sure.
You need to go ahead and push it.
Or it could be, no, this would be to complete, this would be to start a new term, because Judge Wooten's term would have ended, so I think this would be the new term, so I think it's September 1st, but I'm not completely sure on that.
Everybody okay with it? I think that sounds good. Thank you.
And the second item, like I said, is, we're looking into purchasing face masks to be distributed to the community. We won't charge anything once we get them, because to be reimbursed from FEMA, we have to distribute them free of charge to the public. This is something that comes to the counties through the governor's economic recovery group. They work with 2 vendors in the state and some outside the state with prices and whatnot. One vendor, if we do just plain face masks with no logos on it, up to 5,000 it'd be $1.59. So I was thinking of purchasing 1,000. It's $1,590. I would ask if the county commission could consider putting 5,000 in that fund in case we need to do something in the future and seek reimbursement from FEMA. I don't anticipate spending that amount right now. I'm just hoping to get that first initial 1,000 face masks. I hope that'll cover us. But in case something happens in the future, I'd like to have some amount there we could spend and submit for reimbursement in case
Is
something
there
comes
a
up.
limit on the reimbursement dollars that are available?
I have not heard a limit on the reimbursement. Surely, I mean, with all these counties you got putting in for it, if we hit $5,000, I'm sure other counties are hitting them for a lot more than that.
Are there other things other than the face mask that?
There are certain costs, there are certain expenditures that they'll compensate for. Looking around the county, talking to Mr. Beatty right now, we think the face mask is probably what's more in need. Other things we spent in the past, we can submit for reimbursement, such as, and we've been coded them like the comptroller asked us to about PPE, sanitizers, all those things we've been buying. We've already spent those, so we'll just seek reimbursement on that, and this is kind of a different program.
So this needs to go to budget and finance to do budget amendment to have $5,000.
Yeah, it'll be a budget amendment. We have to create a different function and everything to put it in there because it's coded a specific way for this pandemic.
I'll move to send the budget to finance.
Motion to send budget and finance, second by Mr. Gregory. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And the third one would be, again, this is a recurring issue. It happened a few good months ago, and now it's here again with Miss White and the gazebo. We're trying to find a way to get her out without going through the criminal justice system. And there are some possible ordinances we might need to pass to strengthen this in the future. However, again, I'd rather not go that route. I don't want to create a whole entire new ordinance that's going to apply to the entire county for one person. But I would like that issue sent to the law enforcement committee so we could see if that's something that needs to go to them in the future. And we've already taken that step. If we can resolve it another way, then we won't go to them. But if we need to pass an ordinance or something, well then I would ask them to meet so we can consider that. And again, this is something obviously I'd like the county attorney's feedback on, because when you're dealing with the homeless population, they do have rights and there's certain things you can and can't do.
Without a doubt, I know this is an issue that we've all been questioned on and faced, I'm sure. You haven't considered yourself lucky. It's something that will crop up more and more as we go on. And you do need to have in place as much as we can. And I know that a lot of things that we had in times past, people say, well, you used to could deal with this. Well, yeah, you used to could deal with this before the Supreme Court made a decision to lock down vagrancy laws and things of that nature. So we need to look at this. I think law enforcement is the place that it needs to go. Mr. Clarity.
I'll make a motion to send it to law enforcement with our recommendation.
A motion, second by Mr. Gully. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, one thing that we have, thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Have a vacancy on the Emergency Communications Board. Ms. Mark Beeler resigned from that board as secretary. If we receive this recommendation to Tracy Belcher from the 911 board, or is this your nominee, or how did that?
No, sir, this came from Chief Cawthorn, the chairman of the 911 board.
Okay, so we will add that to our agenda for this month's business under appointments. We do know we have the vacancy with the Judicial Commissioner. I did talk with Judge Linville about it. I know you've been in contact with him. And my understanding, he's talked to several people, and he will try to give us a name at the end of the week, or sometime in the next few days, that he would like to bring forward. Not yet, but he said he wanted to make the last of the election. I think that's understandable. And vacancy with the fire chief. Have we come up with any plan on that at all? Or?
No.
Things that we had discussed before, I think most of the things from last month have moved on. We did do the resolution for the sales tax increase, and don't know how it's going. I'm not seeing a lot of kickback and crying and shouting about it, so I'm guardedly optimistic that it has a chance to pass. The 18 codes is going to the Codes and Zoning Committee next week. Next week. I've been in contact. I guess the biggest question on that is going to be whether to leave home sprinkler requirements in the code or take them out. Typically in the past we have taken them out. The legislature has left the option of that up to us. I've been in contact with the Fire Marshal's office and impasse and representative. And they put me in contact with the executive director of the Sprinkler Association. And they have offered to come up. They have a trailer that's set up with 2 mock rooms that are completely furnished. One is sprinkled, one is not. They set them both on fire, and you can see how quickly one burns, what happens when the sprinkler head pops. It's all has the temperature in real time readout, so you know how hot the fire is getting, the whole 9 yards. And we're trying to make arrangements for them to bring that up at the end of the month. And I also have the data from insurance companies as to how much you can save on homeowners policies depending on which classification, ISO classification you're in. They'll bring us that. So I'm just trying to get us not somebody to come in and tell us what we have to do, but to get the information from the experts to show the benefits, and so we can make an informed decision whether we want to leave it in there or not. So I'm saying all of that to say this is in the works. We haven't set the date up. I've met with Chief Wheeler about it, doing it at the fire department. We're just trying to get the dates nailed down at this point. I'm not trying to say that's what we need to do. I'm just trying to say this is the opportunity for us to look at it and make a decision on whether we want it or not. It's the best opportunity because we're looking at adopting this new code. If we get bogged down on this issue, we've written a resolution on the new codes ordinances for just the residential, and then the IBC, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, all the other ones is a separate resolution. So we can go ahead and approve that one if we want to have more information for the discussions on the residential side. So they will be split up, but they'll both be taken up in code development in this month. Any questions about that? You understand what we're trying to do, Ron?
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Yeah. Yes.
I've just been looking at my calendar. It's something I need to bring up for the Communications Committee. It's not an issue for the Communications Committee. The state, where we got in the Tennessee Downtowns program, has scheduled the first meeting for our steering committee for that. It'll be Tuesday in this room from 4 to 6 p.m. So since there might be a little bit of overlap in communications, and given that you're talking about the upstairs courtroom, I would just ask if the chairman would consider meeting up there, go ahead and plan meeting up in the upstairs courtroom rather than down here.
It's gonna be here, that is, so.
Yeah, it's supposed to be here from 4 to 6. I think it'll be done by then, but I can't say for sure. So to avoid overlap, and given that we're discussing upstairs courtroom, I just asked if you meet up there instead.
It should be from.
We had talked about last month the transfer of the ag building. Have we?
After the election.
Do what?
I said after the election.
Okay.
And it'll have to be approved by the county, by the school board also, I believe.
Is that to get the legal approval on it? Is that?
Yeah, they have to put it in their minutes and show that they've approved to go ahead and transfer it to the county, and we can accept it and do the paperwork.
We did have the resignation of 4th District Commissioner Grace Thomas. I checked with Mr. Paxton yesterday. I think there's been one person pick up a petition so far. I don't know whether anyone did today. I didn't talk to him today. That was former Commissioner who? Yeah, Mansfield, Clyde Mansfield. He's picked up the petition. And Mr. Lonnie Taylor had expressed interest. My understanding he was going to try to do that as well. But as of yet, I don't think he's picked up the petition. So far, that's all I know of. Bubba, have you talked to anyone else? Yeah, I think the word is pretty much out there. I've had some people ask me about it that weren't in that district, so I do know that there is a little awareness of that happening. I've had a note to talk about the homeless issue, but I think we've already covered that adequately unless there's something else to bring forward on that. There was a question come up about, and this has come up before, having office space for the commission or an office designated for the commission so that we have a place, those that want to have a place to come to work on minutes or to research the files from past committee meetings and things of that nature, that we'd have a place to meet. Mayor and I have discussed it a little bit, and I just don't think there's room at the administration building anywhere at all for it to go up there. But we were thinking possibly, and only if the commission thinks there is a need for it. If y'all all say we don't need that, then we'll forget about it. But was one of the offices at the back, the old court offices at the back of the upstairs courtroom. One of those small offices I think would be adequate. I think at least the one in the corner I know did have internet access, and with this printer out here we could access this printer and print the documents and things we needed. The reason I thought it would be really better for it to be in this building was, say we get in a meeting and we have a question about something that was said or happened 3 months ago, and we need to try to go pull a file, it would all be right here so we'd have access to it during our committee meetings or our commission meetings or just prior to it. So that's kind of the thinking. Just want to throw it out and see what y'all's thoughts are. I mean, I think there's some people that see great need for it, some that don't. I think the people that were secretaries, probably chairman, would see the need for it more than just, which is probably all of us in some capacity. What's your thoughts?
What files are we discussing that?
Or
What files are we discussing that, Sergeant?
what files?
When you say files that would be accessible.
What I'd be talking about is the different committees, the minutes, and the committees to keep a history of it. You go in there if you want to know what the building committees looked at. You can pull building committee file, the book, and you've got all those to go back through them, and it all be kept there in that one place.
So we're talking about like hard copy files. That's
And
what
a
I was
computer,
asking.
and a
Because they're all-
computer, where you could have a computer and printer to be able to access it as well. You know, or just there again, the computer file. Not all of us walk around with a computer in our pocket, but just, that's the thing. I know that we've had, one or two people that have requested a space and a place to be able to do the minutes and things of that nature. Since those are not being used, you know, I mean, it's really not gonna be much of any cost other than possibly some equipment. We need to, if we can't come up with an old computer, we've got a lot of old computers laying around that probably work for that need, that we could put in there. But anyway, just, that was the thought process. Just not anything we have to decide tonight. Just wanted to throw that out and let everybody maybe chew on it a little bit, see if you think it would be a good idea or not. There has been discussion in times past about the commission actually employing their own secretary, someone that is hired to come to the committee meeting, do minutes, and keep up with all of our paperwork and agendas and things of that nature, so that we're not having to rely on the mayor's staff to do those things. And we have had discussions about that previously, and just didn't feel like there was a need for that at this time. And I'm not saying there is, but I think we're fast coming to the day that there will be a need for it. One other thing I'd like to bring up is,
Chair.
yes, I'm sorry.
I just want to ask Ms. Blackmore, will she use it if it's available?
Honestly, probably not.
Will she have a secretary or whatever you want?
Just because I use my laptop and all, whatever. I keep my documents in my own binder. I mean, there might be other documents that I might want to research, but I would probably contact the secretary.
Yeah, well, most all of them are put on the county website
Right.
anyway.
I went back and looked on the county website before and printed from there.
I just wanted to
That's
ask
really
her-
helpful having that on there now, and, I refer to it constantly. So, it may be with that, there's really no need for it. I think it's more not that is the main thing, it's just a place where someone needs a place to work. One of the secretaries, or one of the commissioners.
I think it would be to each individual in all honesty.
I mean, I think myself, there would be times I would use it, times I wouldn't use it.
Yeah.
There'd be times my office is my reclining chair, and then there are times that it would be nice to be able to go there to have some peace and quiet and be able to collect your thoughts and do.
Well, what was the time frame that the minutes were supposed to be finished within 5 days or 7 weeks?
Yeah, we decided a week,
But you'd have to,
calendar week.
you'd have to regulate with everybody that's got 2 or 3 meetings a week to have this place open.
Well, I think the people that would be using it would have a key to it, and they just come in and go up there and use it if they wanted to. If somebody else is already there, they just have to wait, it'd be a first come, first served basis. But I don't think it's something that every one of you would use, but I do think the ones that want it enough to ask for it, I'll just say that. And even if it's only one, it costs nothing to accommodate them, so why not accommodate them? But let's talk about it, chew on it, talk to others that are not here tonight, and get their feedback on it. Just wanted to kind of throw it out there so we can be thinking about that discussion.
Really, we talk to people who's wanting it. Most of us, like I said, are not gonna use it, but there may be a small amount of people who might want to use it.
Well, the one that's raised the issue is Commissioner Jones Rachel has repeatedly asked about it or asked for it. And I've seen times that it would be helpful to me. It's not anything that I think is a have to have, like I said, one way or the other. But since the space is there, I mean, why not? It's kind of my thinking, but whatever the will of the body is. I didn't want us to really decide it tonight, I just wanted us to be thinking about it. Mayor, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I just echo what you said. The space over there is Debbie's old office. We're kind of using it for storage now. When the comptroller's office comes in, that's where they set up to do the audits. Health insurance companies that come in and sign up for people, they use it. Various other people that come in, they use it. So I can't guarantee it's going to be available when you need it. And you and I talked, and the upstairs has much better Wi-Fi reception if you're going to use a computer than it does down here. So I would suggest if you're going to do that, use the former judges' chambers, which you can go out the door on the right side of the courtroom in that office right to your right. That would be the former judges' chambers. I think that'd probably be the best place. It's certainly a lot bigger. There's a small office next to it, but it's not much bigger than a closet, to be honest with you. And you can set up your computer in there and then set up some shelves for like a little library. You're talking about having a minutes or anything like that. So if it does come to that, I suggest you use that office. And then also, if you are going to get a computer, if we don't have one that's going to fit the need already that we could just bring from another department, if you're going to buy a computer, you're going to have to come out of your budget. I can't use the mayor's fund to buy a budget for the county commission, just like I can't use to buy one for the trustee or the sheriff's department or anything like that.
Right now, I don't think the computer's been the issue as much as the space. I think, like I say, there are some computers that we upgraded others to that are still around and possibly used for what little bit of needs we need for word processing. Y'all think about it. Anybody have anything else tonight? Anything I'm overlooking? Anybody? Public comment.
I do have a question. I'd like to get a little more clarification on Mr. Jewell's question. Mayor, do you have a plan, or have you considered your path in hiring a fire chief?
I've considered several different scenarios, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of waiting till after the election to talk to the county attorney about some complaints that's been brought to me and see if there's any validity to it or need to go anywhere. If not, I do have a plan, but we're going to have to give it to the Emergency Services Committee because apparently they didn't like how I did it, and I'm not going to do it exactly the way they want either, so we're going to have to come to some kind of understanding here.
Mr. Nolan, have you, is Emergency Service Committee met?
We haven't met in several months.
Haven't met since, was it January, I think, last meeting?
I think so.
Probably need to schedule one, try to cover some of these things, possibly talk about some of these things. September is fast approaching. In September, we will elect a new chairman to the commission. I would ask you if you want to change any committees, please tell me which ones. I don't want to list, so I won't be on these 5. I want to know which one you want off of and which one you want on, and it needs to be a 1-for-1. Because we tried to balance them and have everybody obvious numbers. But if you want to make a move, that's the time to make a move, because in September we will approve our new committee structure. Right now, plan on no changes to it, no additional ones, keep it pretty much like it is. But if you want to change, please just let me know so we can make those changes. I want you to be where you want to be. It does you absolutely no good and us no good for you to be on a committee that you don't want to be. So just bear that. That's all I have. Anybody have anything else?
I guess one thing back
Yes.
on the computer conversation. I guess I'm just sitting there thinking about, you were talking about like word processing and things of that nature. With our county website, with our county Google accounts, sorry, I can't talk about this anymore, but I'm learning to do it anyway. But
You better get used to it.
I'm getting used to it. But I guess what I'm getting at is with our county our county emails that we all have. I think all commissioners, if I'm not mistaken, have a county email. I know we've all those 100 accounts. That's constantly it's got Google Sheets, it's got Google Docs, and all those pieces which are just shared documents. They're non-paper. I don't know exactly what copies we have to have hard copy, but I guess I'm just trying to me, I'm not a file, like this whole paper copies kind of person. I think it just ends up trying to take up space, take up places. But with that system, there's not a way we can kind of look into that system, especially with our secretaries doing that route a little easier.
Well, I think we're trying to go that way. Just that when you come back into a meeting like this, not everybody's got a laptop or phone when they go to the meetings, the minutes, so you need hard copies typically at your meetings and things. So you're gonna have it from that, so it's just real easy to punch and put them in a binder, put them in a folder, keep that copy. And some of us do not have internet access. You would be surprised how many of the commissioners that I have to either make phone calls or make sure that they get it in person, that they don't even have emails, they don't have internet access. So that hampers that a bit. But I think we're all, one thing that we want to try to do is move more into the electronic age and be more transparent with the things that we're doing with the website and things of this nature. And that's what we're looking at. We met with someone this week, going to be waiting to hear from a company over in Lebanon to talk to us about the upstairs courtroom AV system. You know, we haven't dropped that. We're still working toward that. And I think once we get, as long as we're working toward that into the future, I think that's the direction everybody knows that we need to go, with the exception of a few. But the communication committee, I think, is going to play a big role in what direction we take with that meeting. And yeah, I agree with you 100%. And that's what the website, one reason we want to do the website upgrade is so we can archive and make those documents, people don't have to come in and ask for them, they can just go that time. And so far, that's worked out really, really well. Like I say, I access a lot, and I know a lot of people do. I've been encouraged by the number of people that tune in for our live Facebook broadcast. It just amazes me that, you know, we'll get 500 to 700 people watching what we're doing here tonight. You know, and I think that's only going to grow as time goes forward. And I'm certainly encouraged to see the public being interested enough to do it. And I applaud the mayor for that. I mean, he's the one that's brought us into that, and I give him more than thanks for doing it. Helped us a lot. Anyone have anything else? That's full. We have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? I have a second. Mr. Gregory, all in favor, say aye. Anybody not in favor, just say aye.
Stay all right.